Welcome to Dreamweaver. This set of tutorials is going to teach you how to use HTML coding using the program Dreamweaver. So to begin, click on HTML. Alright, you'll notice this is Dreamweaver. This is the workspace. Down the bottom here we have the properties pane. This is where we change the global settings of our web pages. Okay, and you'll notice that there are three different views. There's code view, split view, and design view. Okay, and this allows us to see the web page in its different forms. So this is what it actually looks like in terms of its coding. Okay, and to make it more simple, I'm just going to delete some of this for you so that it makes more sense to you. Alright, now you'll see HTML with two greater than, less than symbol brackets on either side of it. Okay, that means that is the beginning of the HTML code. Okay, I can put as many enters as I like between these lines of code because the enter doesn't actually register in HTML code. Okay, it's just there to help us space things out. Okay, so there's HTML, the start, and you'll notice here it is at the end as well. Okay, and it's got a / in front of HTML because that means it is ending the tag, and that means HTML code will cease from this point on. Okay, so it reads from top to bottom. So there's the start of HTML, there's the end of HTML, and we've got this stuff in between. Head, this is the area where we put a lot of the page settings in. Later on, you'll see more stuff getting added in between head and the closing of head. But at the moment, we've just got the page title. So what we're going to do is we're going to call it something useful like home. So we've just named our page home. And if we go back to design view, you'll see up here under title, it's actually changed to home there as well. So going back to code, we've got home. And then we have body here. Again, body is where we put our content. Okay, so I'm going to write in here, this is the home page. If we go back to design view, you'll see that I've got some text in there where I put that in. Okay, if I was to write it under heading and I wrote, this is the home page, go back to design, it's not there. We've only got our original one that we wrote previously. Okay, so you can't add content in the heading section. That's for page properties and settings and stuff. All right. Now, if we want to modify this text, we continue to use tags. Okay, so if I want to make home bold, I open my tag and write B. Yeah, that opens the bold tag, and just like HTML reads top to bottom, it also reads left to right. So if I was to open a tag, then put /, Dreamweaver interprets that I want to close this bold tag, which is B. Again, if I refresh it and go to design, we'll have a look. This is the home page bolded. Okay, and you can do similar things. You can, to underline a tag, you put a U in there. Same deal. Okay, so HTML works using these tag functions. Right, now I've taught you this because this is the basics of it. But thankfully for you, you don't have to know much more than that because we are going to do the rest of this in design view. So clicking back to design view. Now you notice that immediately you can't move things around the page very easily. Okay, that's because HTML doesn't work so well with spacing. Okay, so if I was trying to click this and drag it somewhere, it wouldn't really work. Okay, so the way we're going to space everything in our web pages is to create invisible tables. Okay, so if we go insert, table, yeah, we're going to insert a table, and we're going to have approximately 3 buttons. So we're going to have 3 columns as well. It just makes it look neat. Our table width, this is how big we want our web page to look. And generally speaking, this needs to be between 800 and 1000 pixels just because we want it to fit on most people's screens. And you're using a pretty big screen right now, but it might not work on someone else's screen if it was small. Okay, so I'm going to make it 1000. And border thickness is 0, so that it's invisible. Cell padding and cell spacing, make them 0 as well. Press OK. Okay, and you'll notice you've got a table here, but the dotted lines mean that it's not visible when we actually preview it. Okay, this is just in design view, you can see the dots. Okay, let's just delete this text, we don't need this anymore. Okay, so what we're going to do really is we're going to have, it sort of looks a bit like Excel now, but we're going to have our home and our other 2 buttons for our different pages up here, and we're going to have a title, we're going to have our content down here. Okay, so actually we might just put the title at the top. So what we do is highlight click and drag to the left or right so that you highlight these 3 cells. And then if you go to the bottom right-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner, merge selected cells. Okay, you'll notice we've merged this top one, and we're going to write up here our page title. So we're going to call this home page. All right, now click on that whole cell there so that you can, as if you're trying to type again, and go down to the bottom again and change the horizontal centering. And we'll put it right in the middle so that it's centered. All right, now we're going to write here these are going to be like buttons. So we're going to write home, that's obviously to this page. Then we're going to write another page name, so we're going to just write about, because generally there's an about page. And we're going to call this one, I don't know, images, sure. All right, and the same way we centered this, we're going to do the same. We're going to highlight this area here. We're going to go down to horizontal, center. Okay, now they're all in the middle. All right, now we're going to highlight this bottom 3 cells again and merge them together too. Okay, so we have the makings of a web page. All right, now it's pushed across to the left, it's justified left. We want to center it so that when we preview it, it'll always be in the middle. So clicking on the edge of the table, you'll know it's right when you click it and you've got a box around it. Go down to the bottom here with alignment, choose center. And that'll put it in the middle of your web page. All right, now you'll notice our headings look the same as our buttons. Okay, that's not so good. We want the heading to be big. So to do that, we're going to go to code view. And you'll notice that we've got lots of settings that have been put in for us by Dreamweaver. Not to worry too much about that. We're going to go and find where it says home. So here it is. It says home page. We can highlight that. And if you go back to design view, you can see we've highlighted it there. So if I was to highlight that, go to this code view, you'd see it on your code view there. We want to make this big. Now bold isn't going to cut it. It's not going to be big enough. So what we're going to do is make a tag and write H1 and close a tag on the other side of that too. Open bracket, H1. What H1 is a designation for a heading. Okay, now you can designate plenty of different headings in a HTML web page. So back to design view, the default heading is quite large. You'll notice it here. But if we want to customize what that heading should be, the default heading is quite large. But if we want to customize what that heading is going to be, we go down to page properties. Okay, and if we go to headings, you'll notice we have six options. All right, we can change the general page font if we want, but I'm just going to leave that default for now. Then heading 1, this is where we can specify what we want. I'm going to make it size 24. I'm going to change its color to blue. I'm going to make it bold. Actually, I might make it darker blue. That'll do. Press apply. And yeah, maybe a bit too small. So let's go size 36. That'll do. Press OK. And now we have got heading number 1. Okay, and we could keep making different font types and sizes by creating different headings. Okay, so for example, if I double clicked on this and if I went down to format, and you can see the headings that we chose from here. If I chose heading 1, it'll be just the same as heading 1 up here. But if I change that back to maybe heading 2, it'll be slightly different. Okay, because that's a default one. But I'm just going to leave it as none. So it'll be just normal.